Hi, I'm Bob Dorian, on the road again in the great state of Florida. Now, we've come here to get a first-hand look at the remarkable contributions the Sunshine State has made and continues to make to the motion picture industry. While we're here, we're going to learn about a city that very nearly became the motion picture capital of the world. We'll meet one of Hollywood's top stars, too, and we'll visit a place where you can actually put yourself in the movies and get a first-hand look at the magic of the world's best animation. So stay with us as American Movie Classics salutes Florida. Hi, and welcome to the sunny state of Florida. We're here in the state capital, Tallahassee, where a very special guest is about to talk to us about the contributions Florida has made to the film industry. Now, of course, when you talk about Florida, there's probably one person more qualified than anyone else in this part of the country to talk about that subject, and I'm referring to the governor, Governor Bob Martinez. Bob?
Bob, welcome. Have a seat.
Do I call you Mr. Governor or just Bob?
Bob is just fine.
I love your office. It's like a movie set.
Well, I'd like to welcome you and your crew here to Florida, and of course, we have a very long history. In fact, somewhat older than the original 13 colonies.
Well, what can you tell us about the film history here in Florida?
We've got really quite a wonderful history. Not far from my office right here in Tallahassee in Wakulla Springs, Johnny Weissmuller shot a lot of his Tarzan films, and later on, it was followed up by another movie right there, Creature from the Black Lagoon. So I think we have certainly added an awful lot to the film industry right here in nearby Tallahassee. Bob, last year, the film production shots in Florida was about $220 million. That's third after California and New York.
Well, that would put Florida pretty close to being the film capital of the United States. Is there anything else you can tell us about the film history here in Florida?
Well, for that, you've got to go to Jacksonville.
During the era of the First World War, Jacksonville was known as the winter film capital of the world. Over 300 feature films were shot right here in Jacksonville, and over 30 studios were built here in this city.
Why Jacksonville?
Jacksonville had a wonderful climate. It had a tremendous diversity of locations, and they could come here with their crews and shoot under budget. In fact, that's one of the reasons that led to the demise of the industry here, because they were always trying to save a buck, and they would do things like when they needed a racing fire engine, they would turn in a false fire alarm. And when they needed to have a crowd of people looking up, they advertised a fake parachute jump from a 3-story building. And after a while, the city fathers said, listen, guys, this is enough. We need to hire some extras and put some money in these productions or get out. And that's apparently what happened.
Now, with all this wonderful history, you must have at least a few famous names that you could tell us about from Jacksonville.
Absolutely. Vita Barra was here. D.W. Griffith made a movie here, Billy Bixter, but perhaps the favorite of them all was a fellow by the name of Babe Hardy, who came down from a little town in Georgia, and this 300-pound comedian later became known as Oliver Hardy.
I understand there's a lot of current film activity here as well.
Yes, we're proud that Jacksonville is once again becoming a production center. We've made over 13 movies here in the last several years, and it's had about a $60 million impact, so the mayor and the government are glad to play host to these producers once again.
Tell me about this grand old movie palace.
Now, this movie palace was built in 1927, and it was indeed the place to come. It was probably the only place in town with air conditioning. That was back in the days with the orchestras and the newsreels. It was a place to come on Saturday night.
Now, the Florida Theater isn't the only lovingly renovated movie palace in this state. In Miami, there's the Guzman Center for the Performing Arts. And on the Space Coast, we find the Cocoa Village Playhouse, a community showcase for a wide variety of live performances. The city of Tampa is proud of its showpiece, the Tampa Theater, while Sarasota boasts the Edwards Theater, which now serves as the home of the Sarasota Opera.
Bob, welcome to Sarasota and the A.B. Edwards Theater. This was built in 1926 to produce vaudeville and films and opera coming from New York. Now, speaking of films, I hope you noticed in the foyer our beautiful crystal chandelier.
Oh, sure, it's hard to miss.
Thank you. That is our movie star.
Why do you call it that?
Well, it was used in Gone with the Wind.
No, I thought it looked familiar.
And we're very proud of the fact that the wonderful movie, one of the best, The Greatest Show on Earth, was shot in the Sarasota area and premiered right here in our own A.B. Edwards Theater.
Why would you not see me anymore?
They're waiting. Please put me back.
Not until you kiss me.
When I kiss you, I need both feet on the ground. Let me go.
You really insist, Cherry?
Yes, let me go.
Goodbye.
Sebastian won't give up, Brad. You better marry me quicker. I'm a gone pigeon.
You get back up there and finish the act, or you'll be a dead pigeon.
Yes, sir.
Bob, you know, today, this is the Sarasota Opera House. We were the 7th opera company in the United States to own our own home. Quite a prestigious statement. And we produce opera each year here.
That's wonderful. Now, what's the difference between what you're doing here today and, say, back in the 1920s?
Well, in the 20s, if you had come to town, you would have parked your car at the United States Garage because these were the ends of the roads, as it were. There were no more roads going south, and you would have taken a ferry on down to Edison's home or even Hemingway on down to Key West.
Filmmakers have found Florida's diverse natural beauty a fantasy land, especially Key West, Ernest Hemingway's favorite playground. While you're in the Keys, you can still visit Key Largo, but don't expect to find the place where Humphrey Bogart met Lauren Bacall. Nothing that they used in this movie still exists. The Everglades hosted Gary Cooper and Distant Drums, while the state's military bases were featured in Flight Command, filmed in Pensacola, and 12 O'Clock High at Fort Walton. Gregory Peck and Jane Wyman came here to film The Yearling. Robert Wagner showed up in Tarpon Springs for Beneath the 12-Mile Reef. And Claudette Colbert, Joel McRae, and Rudy Valley mixed with Florida residents during the filming of the Palm Beach Story. Rhett Butler, eat your heart out. One of the most beautiful spots in the central part of Florida is Cypress Gardens, the home of the world's most famous water skiing show. Cypress Gardens, with its unsurpassed foliage, 1,000-year-old cypress trees, and beautiful southern bells, has always attracted the attention of the world's top filmmakers. And when Esther Williams came here to film Easy to Love, they were nice enough to name the pool after her. This beautiful park was also the setting for Moon Over Miami with Betty Grable and Don Amici, which was filmed here and in Miami. Now, this is the South Beach area of Miami, also known as the Art Deco district. This is the largest restoration of Art Deco style architecture in the country. Art Deco is that wonderful style that was so prominent back in the 1930s that was used in so many of the Hollywood movies. Now, this is the Cardozo Hotel, a place that looks like it's right out of one of those old Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers movies. The fact is, Hollywood did come here, not with Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers, but with Frank Sinatra, Edward G. Robinson, and Eddie Hodges. They changed the name of the hotel, but this is the same place that Sinatra tried to hold on to in Frank Capra's A Hole in the Head. Now, when Frank Sinatra came to Miami, his home away from home was the Frank Sinatra Suite, here at the fabulous Fontainebleau Hotel. As a matter of fact, Sammy Davis Jr. and Dean Martin and the rest of the Rat Pack used to use this as their headquarters as well, as did Joan Crawford and Jackie Gleason, Judy Garland, and other top stars. This lobby is also large and elegant enough to serve as a location for the most outrageous slapstick comedy, which is probably why Jerry Lewis chose the Fontainebleau as the main location for his work in the motion picture, The Bellboy. I think I remember Jerry Lewis falling right here, and over here, and here, and here, and over here. Back in the 1950s, Fort Lauderdale was just another resort city along the sunny coast of Florida. But then, following the release in 1960 of one motion picture, this place became the unofficial world headquarters for college students off on spring break. The name of the movie was Where the Boys Are, and it featured George Hamilton, Yvette Mimeo was in it, Jim Hutton, and Connie Francis.
Attention, class. Have either of you two pledges happened to notice the date lately? Well, Mr. Smith and I have, and for your information, we have exactly 2 days left of this vacation.
2 days. Snow and ice. Dr. Ronch and the dean. Oh, Ryder.
Be comforted. TV has an announcement.
Students, in view of the impending disaster, we are about to start living it up. Tonight, we hit the show places, the hot spots, to mingle with the elite. Your hosts, Mr. Ryder Smith, and your humble servant.
You mean dress-up style?
You may dress to the nines. Right, my friend?
To the nines.
Well, now I'm sitting here with two of the extras from Where the Boys Are, and the first thing that occurs to me, how much money did you make on that anyway?
I got $12 out of the whole thing, but I had a great time.
How about you?
I got more because I rode a car around and around the block, 57 Plymouth, really sharp.
So she made the big bucks.
Oh, yeah, I think I made about maybe 32.
Oh, boy, wow,
yeah.
wow. You bought a couple of drinks across the street,
Oh,
I guess.
in those days, $32 was good money.
I didn't buy any drinks. They were bought for me.
Oh.
You met a couple of new people, did you?
Oh, I had a wonderful time. And everybody that was in the movie, it was like the most exciting thing that had ever happened to me in my whole life.
George Hamilton's older brother, or was it his younger brother? Anyway, he said he was his brother, bought me an ice cream soda at the drugstore.
I'll bet every guy on the beach was telling everybody that he was George Hamilton's brother. Now, when they auditioned you for the parts, or did they just send out a letter? How did that work out?
I saw it in the newspaper, and I applied because the ad had appeared in the Fort Lauderdale
It said
News.
college students show up with your sweatshirt on. Now, one girl came with a teeny-weeny yellow polka dot bikini, and they threw her off the set. You weren't allowed to show any navel in those days.
Well, they made a song about that. Was that you?
Yeah, that song was popular that summer.
No, I had on a Ohio State sweatshirt.
Fort Lauderdale may be where the boys are, but Palm Beach is where the celebrities are, including Burt Reynolds, who was really proud of his Florida heritage.
My love affair with Florida started when I was 5 years old. I think it's the greatest state in the world. My sister didn't come down here until quite a few years after I did, and she arrived in the dead of summer, kind of like today. She got out of the car and said, "Dear God, I'm in hell." It is hot, but not for me. As you notice, I'm not even sweating, and the entire crew is dropping like flies. I love it here. Can't get too hot. Any movie, it didn't matter what it was, I was ready to go do it if it was going to be shot in Florida. I did so many gentle bends and flippers. The flipper and I became really close. The first movie I ever did, I was 22 years old. It's called Angel Baby, and we shot it in Miami. And I was so excited and thrilled to be back here, and actually working and going home at night was incredible. It's a dream of mine that one day I could work here and go home to my wife and my son and never, ever have to cross Hollywood Boulevard.
When Burt Reynolds attended Florida State University back in the early 50s, a knee injury kept him off the football field. It was then that he turned to dramatics. Though he remains a giant in the Hollywood film industry, Burt Reynolds' many contributions to the artistic community in Florida attest to his great love of the Sunshine State. Because of his ongoing generosity, FSU awarded him with an honorary doctorate in humane letters.
I hereby confer upon you, Burt Reynolds, the degree Doctor of Humane Letters.
I'm so touched to have this honor. I'm noted for being rather, I don't know what the word is, but I know what they call it, irreverent about these kind of things. I'm not irreverent about this. I thank you, I thank God, and most of all, I want you to know that it's an overly used word, but I will love this university for the rest of my life, and I will love everyone connected with it, and I will try to make you proud of me. Thank you.
To fans of Buck Rogers and science fiction movies like The Day the Earth Stood Still and Destination Moon, one Florida landmark is a fantasy come to life. Cape Canaveral is a place where suspense and drama aren't just found in the movies. Here, they're a way of life.
We got Skirt Zip. Roger, we confirm Skirt Zip.
Coming back to Earth, we land in the largest working motion picture television studio outside of Hollywood. Now, one of the great things about coming here to Universal is that you can actually find yourself inside the movie. Did you see Earthquake? Here at Universal, you don't just watch it on the screen. You're right in the middle of an 8.3 quake. After experiencing Jaws, it'll probably be a long time before you want to take a boat ride. How would you like to find yourself in the middle of this scene from King Kong? Just get on the Roosevelt Island tram and you'll experience Kong close up and very personal. Long before high-tech special effects were considered normal, Alfred Hitchcock made the most of standard film techniques. In one of Universal's exhibits called The Art of Making Movies, you can see yourself in a number of Hitchcock classics. In Saboteur, for example, you can recreate that famous falling scene atop the Statue of Liberty by using the same blue screen matte process that Hitchcock did. Here's how it looked in the movie. The reality of the scene is established by the long shots of the actual Statue of Liberty. These are intercut with close-ups made of a full-size model of the statue's hand. Here's the camera, here's the lighting equipment, the New York City background is a painted backdrop. The surrounding blue area is not seen by the camera and will later be matted into the finished picture. The fall is done the same way. The actor here is strapped to a blue swivel chair against a blue background. Remember, the blue is invisible to the camera. Instead of the actor falling down at 100 miles an hour, the camera is shot up at the same speed. When the blue area is filled in, the whole thing is as easy as falling off a Statue of Liberty. The edge-of-the-seat finale scenes of Strangers on a Train is another example of Hitchcock's combination of realistic long shots with studio mock-ups. When Robert Walker tries to kick Farley Granger off that runaway carousel, the close-ups utilize only one horse in front of a rear screen projection of the speeding background. The victim lies on an unseen swiveling plank. A nearby fan adds reality to the apparent motion. The reason it's all so convincing is that Hitchcock keeps intercutting long shots of the actual carousel. Subconsciously, we accept the faked close-ups as part of the reality. It's really not half so scary as long as it's not in the water. There's so much to do and see here at Universal that you'd really have to spend several days to take it all in, but unfortunately right now I'm late for a meeting with a gal by the name of Rosie. I wish I could get some movie magic to help. And when you need help, who do you call? Ghostbusters!
Don't cross the stream.
Whoa! Now that's what I call movie magic. Oh, hi there. Apparently we've taken a small side trip, probably to one of the most quaint areas in all of Orlando. This is Rosie O'Grady's, one of those wonderful old drinking establishments that put you in mind of the old gay 90s. That was the era that they made movies like Lillian Russell and Tin Pan Alley. Diamond Jim was another one of those great ones. Now, don't expect to find Betty Grable around here, although she did star in a movie called Sweet Rosie O'Grady. I think I hear it coming now. You know, somehow or other, when you get here, you just feel like you're part of that great old 20th Century Fox musical. Take it away, boys. When Walt Disney envisioned the Magic Kingdom, I'm sure no one had any idea that eventually it would involve the magic of the entire film industry, past, present, and future.
Bob, how you doing?
Hi, how are you? I love this place. It's terrific.
A lot of fun. Listen, since you're with American Movie Classics, we have something right over here I think you're going to be very interested in.
Let's take a look.
Okay.
I feel like I'm on Hollywood Boulevard.
Well, then you're probably going to recognize this. This is our version of the Chinese theater.
Looks better than the original.
Well, we'd like to think so. It was made from the original blueprints. Once you get inside there, you're going to be in the middle of great movie classics like The Wizard of Oz. You'll be in Munchkin Land and even be confronted by the Wicked Witch.
Will you go with me to protect
All right,
me?
I will do that.
Who killed my sister? Who killed the Witch of the East? Was it you?
So you're having a good time so far,
Oh,
huh?
yeah.
Okay, now this is animation right here. This is where you want to go next.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Max.
Welcome to Walt Disney Animation here in Florida.
I've always wanted to see this.
You're in the heart of the production area at the moment. I thought the best thing I could do would be introduce you to one of our senior animators to tell you exactly how an animated film is made, or in particular what he's actually doing on the film at the moment. We're working on The Rescuers Down Under. So let me introduce you to Barry Temple.
Hi, Barry.
Hi, how
are you? Sorry to interrupt you. Tell me about this.
Well, this is Bernard from The Rescuers, and he's doing a little sigh here, with a little inhale, and then as he comes down, he blows it out. He's just kind of, he's kind of unhappy here.
Well, when you do this, you're the character throughout the whole thing, so you're almost the actor.
Yeah, you have to perform the character. You just can't move it around. You have to get into the emotion of the character, how the character's feeling, and so forth.
Barry, why don't we take Bob down to the pencil test station and show him this scene on video?
Okay.
Bob, this is that same scene, but we can now look at it on video. It's quite a new bit of technology. In the old days, we used to have to, what was called flip the drawings. Everybody would be standing around Barry, and he'd have the drawings in one hand, and he'd be flipping them. That's, quickly going through all the drawings, and we'd be trying to peer in to see how the movement was. Well, with this technology, we can shoot on video the equivalent of 1 frame at a time and shoot all of those drawings and then get immediate playback. So our directors can come in and critique the scenes and work with Barry in refining the acting and the action of the scene. Barry, how many drawings are there in this sequence?
Well, in the entire sequence, there's hundreds and hundreds. This is only one part of this whole scene. But I would imagine there's about 30 drawings here in this little bit.
And that's just over a second of screen time, which is why we all blink, we miss it as it goes through. What we should do now, I think, is take you down to our ink and paint department, because what happens to this scene next, of course, is it goes through the rest of the animation process. And at one stage, we photographically transfer all of these images onto pieces of plastic, onto what we call cells. And then each of those cells are hand-painted. So I think we'll take you down to the ink and paint department. We won't get you to paint one of these, but I think we'll get you to paint a cell of Mickey Mouse and see how you get on.
Oh, that's
Let's
really
take you down
exciting.
there. Bob, this is Fran Kirsten. Fran is our ink and paint supervisor and in charge of the whole of our ink and paint department. As you can see, she started work on the Mickey cell that you're about to paint. One of the most important things that Fran is doing, because we want to give you 1 or 2 pointers before you actually start working it yourself, is that she's doing what we call floating the paint. It's very important that the brush doesn't actually touch the surface, otherwise it goes streaky. So she puts such a lot of paint onto the surface that she can then just move that paint around with the brush.
Would you like to try?
Oh, I don't know.
It's high time you did, I think.
I'd love to, but what are we going to do with this now? I don't claim to be an artist. I had to float it, is that it?
Now I want you to think that during Roller Coaster Rabbit that we made here, we had to paint 26,000 of these for a 7-minute film.
Oh, for heaven's sake. Yeah, it's what, 24 frames a second?
That's right. So.
And what about the backgrounds? That's all separate, isn't it?
Yeah, the backgrounds are painted in our background department. Of course, we have far fewer backgrounds in Roller Coaster Rabbit. I think there were 120 backgrounds for the whole of the film, because of course the background remains whilst the character is moving. Now, what I want to do is show you one that we finished, because I thought that would be a...
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh. That's what they finally look like, and I've got every confidence that when you finish that, it would look like this.
Oh my God!
But in case it doesn't,
great?
This is for you to take with us to say
No!
a very big thank you from the whole of the animation department for stopping by to see us today.
Thanks an awful lot. Florida has a proud past, present, and future in the motion picture industry. From the early pioneer days in Jacksonville to the brand new state-of-the-art production facilities, Florida's place as a film capital is absolutely unquestionable. This is a breathtaking, beautiful state. I mean, where else could you go to get the governor to tell you about the history of film in the United States? Look who's here. Hiya, Goofy. Hiya, Donald. Roger Rabbit and Pluto. Hey, listen, guys, I got to get out of here. You know one thing? I want to tell you, I'm going to really miss you guys. I really... Hurry up, Donald. I got to catch a plane. You fellas know where I can get a lift around here? Oh, well, now that's what I call class. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Goofy. Well, hi, Mick. So long for now. We're off to another state in search of more of Hollywood's golden history.